Hi, in this video we're going to be talking about self-portraits. So first, let's talk about, can art communicate? Can you make a artwork, such as a self-portrait, that communicates about something, that tells people about maybe who you are, or what you like or don't like to do, those kind of things. Can you communicate in a work of art? We're going to take a look at a couple artists and see what we can tell about who they are based on what they've put in their self-portrait. So first we'll look at Frida Kahlo. She's a famous artist from Mexico, and this is a self-portrait that she painted of herself. In her portrait, she communicates a little bit about who she is. So by looking at this and looking at what she's included in her portrait, what can you tell about her? What can we learn about her? What is she trying to communicate about herself in this portrait? So take a little bit of time to think about that. So by looking and taking time to think, you probably are noticing, well, she's got animals in this self-portrait. She is maybe in a jungle or outside. There's lots of leaves around her. She has a bird necklace. So what do those images, what do those things that she's included tell us about who she is? Think about that. Next we have Vincent van Gogh, who's a famous artist as well. And here is one of his self-portraits. In his self-portrait here, you can tell he is trying to communicate a little bit about who he is. What can you tell about him by looking at this portrait? What do you see here that tells us or communicates with us a little bit about who he is? You might notice that he has some paints in his hands. He has a paint palette, lots of colors. He has paint brushes. What does that tell us, or what does that communicate with us about who he is, or maybe what he likes to do? These images that we see in this portrait of Frida and of Vincent van Gogh they've included things that we like to call symbols. A symbol is a picture that represents something without words. You can use symbols in a self-portrait to represent you, who you are, what you like to do. So in this portrait here of Vincent, he's used these symbols here of paintbrush and paint palette to tell us that he is a painter. He likes to paint. Frida has used animals, nature. She's outside. She's using these symbols or images in her picture to tell us a little bit about where she is. She probably likes animals. She doesn't really look afraid of them. She has a bird necklace. Those tell us a little bit about her. They're communicating without words. I want you to think about, how can you use symbols in your self-portrait to communicate who you are? So when we look at your self-portrait, we should have a little bit of an idea of something maybe that you like to do, or a place you like to be. Maybe it could be as simple as maybe your favorite color. So you need to have some kind of symbol in your portrait that tells us or communicates with us a little bit about who you are. So in your sketchbook, go ahead and think about some ideas for your symbols.